Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. We are bellying up to the bar the last Wednesday in February. Febtober is almost over because this weather cannot figure out what it wants to do here. We have brought in a master craftsman, a champion, a man who can swing a hammer like Thor. We'll go that far. I'm going to have to ask him, does he wear one of those silly-ass Thor pendants that I see on his show all the time? That shit makes me laugh every time I see one, where I'm like, just because you like the pendant, do you really know, like, the real history of Thor? It has nothing to do with Marvel. So we've got all that going on today. We have brought with us, and we're going to talk slow because he was in the Navy, and as we all know, that means never again volunteer yourself.
That's right.
That's right. We have with us Forged in Fire Season 7 champion Christopher E Hedberg.
Yep.
You didn't realize you were like applause and all kinds of other shit.
Yeah. No,
Like you already got some fans out there. My buddy John out in Pittsburgh. We'll talk real slow for him. He's a Steelers fan, so can't do nothing for him. Oh, look at Dibs already showing up. So let's get some house cleaning done real quick so we can get into this and we can talk about some Forged in Fire things, get into some stuff we've got going on here. As always, over my right shoulder, for those of you that are watching the video, we got the big board for our sticker and a cause. So if you've got some kind of a cause going on, you got something that you're looking to support, make sure you reach out to me. You can reach us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and even our email, the Above the Bar podcast. Send us a message out. Say, hey, this is what I'm supporting. You send me a sticker. I'll read about it on the air. I don't care if it's a band that you're starting, if it's a podcast you've got going on, whatever it is. Send it on out here to us, and we'll make sure that we send that to everyone. Also, for those of you that are watching us right now, do us a favor, take a moment, share this to all your yard sale sites so that we can see how many of those we can get banned from and kicked off of. Chris wants you to send us there so he can see if they've got any scrap metal he could use. That shit is not cheap right now.
no.
There's got to be some leaf springs. There's got to be something out there that he can use. He can forge it. The thing about it, he was explaining to me earlier, was he forges everything into bottle cap openers, like beer bottle openers. So, I mean, that just kind of seemed odd to me. I don't know if he's got a drinking problem, but we'll talk about that. Other things that we got going on, some sidebar things real quick that I normally don't talk about, but got a new tattoo this past week. So everybody go find my daughter, Crystal Knockwood, and it's an odd spelling. You can thank my wife, Krystyl Knockwood, just like it sounds. She's over on Instagram. You can find her if you go through my follow list. Phenomenal tattoo artist. She did a Scotty Young Thanos on my leg, which is phenomenal. You can see the pictures of it. She's a phenomenal artist. So give her a follow. Do we have anything else going on? Oh, and we're going to hint a whole bunch, Chris and I. We're going to hint at this. And maybe if anybody can guess what it is, we'll tell them. But Chris and I are working on something. We're looking at something big. I'm going to say it's monstrous. We're going to hammer this whole thing out. We might have to forge forward to come up with an idea. But we're going to do this. We might have an idea for something. So just think about that for a moment, folks. But now we're going to get into it. So season 7, Forged in Fire champion, Chris. Welcome, brother.
Hey, thank you. Good to be here.
So now you're up in Altoona, PA, right?
Altoona, PA. Yep.
And you got to be from Pennsylvania to call it PA.
Yeah.
Nobody else calls it PA.
No, I don't know.
Well, I mean, so you were in the Navy. So let's kind of get into the entire piece to this and what happened. So did you grow up in Altoona?
Yep, grew up, born, raised Altoona. Yep.
So, were you forging before you got into the Navy?
Uh, no. Actually, my grandfather he had sort of a garage where he did metal work, and he was a welder for the railroad. So I kind of grew up around kind of the metal work and everything. So, but no, I didn't do anything before my time in the Navy. It was afterwards. So I kind of picked it up, and yeah,
All
it's been
right.
downhill ever since. Yep.
Just shit's gone south ever since I learned how to do this.
Yep.
So you get into it. You're in the Navy. Even in the Navy, was there ever, was it even like, I know in the Marine Corps, I wasn't a thing like where I ever remembered a Marine being like, "Excuse me, guys, I got to go back to the house. I brought my forge with me." Like,
Yeah.
was it a thing in the Navy for you? Did you like? I'm trying to just figure out, where does this? I know your grandfather had something, but where does this come from? Was it anything you did in the Navy?
Uh, no, not exactly. So I've always been into my father worked in museums throughout the state. So I'd always be in museums, and I'd always see the swords and the knives and the axes, all the medieval stuff, and just random old and just interesting things. And I've always been into um, the swords and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So it's something that he would actually make me aluminum swords and different types of things, bring them home, for like Christmas or something like that. So I've always had like that interest in weaponry and historical pieces and just yeah. So whenever I was in the Navy, um, I had a lot of buddies were hall technicians, were welders, stuff like that. So I'd go down and play around in the shop and just mess around with things. But yeah, it mainly came along after I got out and kind of watched the YouTube video, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna try that. So it was terrible at first, but I kept at it. So
So how does that? I mean, you say you just watched a YouTube video. I mean, but there had to be something more to it than just, oh, look, it's a video. Somebody's forging something. I mean, there had to be like, because it's not like you broke out a lighter and a couple of needles from mom's sewing kit and was like, well, look, I forged
yeah,
something. Let me get at this. How does this all come to be?
okay. Well, actually, boy, this is a while ago. I can't remember what year it was, but I saw a video. It was a Mad Dwarf Workshop on YouTube, and they're no longer um, it's no longer the Mad Dwarf Workshop, but my buddy, he's my buddy now. He was forging a sword, and I was just like, I was like, man, I got to do this. This is really cool. And back in 2017, I believe, this might be 10 years after I saw that video. I went to it's a blacksmith gathering in Ohio, and he was there, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna geek out. This, yeah, I've been following his work over the years, and yeah, I got to meet him, and we actually I belong to one of his groups, and we talk back and forth. He does a lot of tutorial type stuff, and but it's really cool. Mind if I say who it is?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay,
Absolutely.
it's Dave Delagardelle. He actually made him and his buddy Andy made the sword for Heimdall in the movie Thor.
No shit.
Yeah, so they made that, and so I was like, oh man, this is great. But yeah, now I consider him a good friend of mine, and I don't get to meet hang out with him or anything, but through Facebook, Instagram, and everything, we talk back and forth, and yeah, it's a good time though.
Bro, that's badass. So I actually
Yeah.
always thought that Heimdall sword was just like a CG piece that was just maybe a hilt,
Mhm.
and then they CGI'd a blade onto there. I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah. They actually forged out a blade for it, and yeah, yeah. The handle work and everything. It has a real intricate carvings and everything in the wood, and yeah, they did all that.
No shit.
So
You
yeah.
got oh, how far is Altoona from Pittsburgh? This is goofball here.
Uh, I'm gonna say it's probably 2.5 hours,
All
two
right,
hours.
John. He doesn't know you. John's over here like he's from Pittsburgh. That's my brother. He drinks that he drinks heavily. Don't worry about it. And he's also he now. I don't know if maybe this is a thing. Maybe I don't know. Have you worked with Christian from WWE? I don't know. Are you doing something with him?
Uh, n- Me?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't think so.
I don't know what it see, I told you I don't know what he's talking about. But Dib says you've got some pretty amazing knives out there, which
Yeah,
that's hint one. Knives. I don't know. I'm gonna try to
yeah.
find some way to make this sound interesting. But so so really that now if I'm hearing you, you didn't really start forging till 2017.
I started forging probably 2007. I'm gonna say
Okay.
around
Gotcha.
2007. Yeah,
So it was 17 when you met the gentleman.
yeah, yeah. When I met Dave, I ran into him at the event, and I kind of fanboyed out on. I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, hey, what's going on?" Yeah, I was at the
Can
time
I touch
my
your
hair was
hammer?
yeah, my hair was down halfway, on my back. I looked like a wild man, and uh, I'm sure he's
That's
probably like, "Who's
great.
this weirdo?" Yeah,
That's great. Looking like a
yeah,
long-haired hippie talking about,
yeah,
"Oh man, I love your knives." That's so great.
yeah.
I love every bit of it. But you know what? I bet you I follow well, obviously follow you and you're and if anybody's looking for you on Instagram or anything, where can they find you at?
It's at Hedberg Forge and Metalworks.
So it's just like that for those of you that are watching our live. I just threw it up there on the screen. And the Hedberg is just like it's Hedberg and then Forge and Metal Works. If you search that
Yep.
on Instagram, you'll find and make sure you go ahead and jump on there and give Chris a quick like. Now, everything you
Yeah.
have says Christopher. Do you prefer Christopher or Chris? That's it.
Chris is good. Yeah,
All right.
Chris.
We're
Yeah,
not
I
dating
put.
or anything, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chris is good.
we're not dating, but I just wanted to double check. But
Yeah.
so so here it is. You're doing this. I don't even know what year Forged in Fire came out. My kids love it. I'm going to tell you right now.
Uh,
My 4-year-old will sit down
uh,
and be like, "Daddy, let's watch our show." He loves it. I don't know what
that's
it is.
awesome.
I don't know if it's at the end where the gentleman's always like, "It will kill. It will. It will cut."
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if it's that part, what it is that he loves the most, but he will sit and watch. Well, you know what though? He likes any of those crafting shows. Like he likes on Disney, they have a show where all the kids bake.
Okay.
He's like, I'm watching this. I'm like, you, I better never see you touch the oven like for years. He's like, I'm watching this shit. So, so I mean, it's definitely one of those things. Uh, Nathan's already on here. Beautiful metalworks can be. Can you do swords? He wants to know, can you make a sword?
I do swords. Yep. Yep. That's one of my main focuses is getting into getting swords and doing historical pieces. So yeah.
It,
I also do sort of the myth inspired fantasy looking type stuff as well. So
what do you mean?
um I don't know, just things that aren't exactly historic, but they're inspired by historic pieces. Kind of
Okay.
my own flair to them. Yeah. Yeah.
Some guy named Pete said you do awesome swords. Some guy named Pete. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that I don't even know who that guy
You ever
is.
seen that guy?
Never seen him before in my
Do
life.
you want to boot him off? You want to boot him off? I don't even know who that
Nah,
guy is.
he can stay. He can
He
stay.
can stick
He's
around.
all right. Yeah, that's my brother Pete.
I had a feeling that's who that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then because like if it would have been your dad or something like that, he'd been like, "My boy does amazing swords. I love him." It would be dad's always like if they're on,
Oh
that
yeah.
it's always like that kind of a vibe. And Nathan's over here trying to sell like everything he owns because he wants a sword of omens. I don't even know what the hell that is. What the hell is
I know
that?
exactly. Line of Thundercats.
Oh, that sort of omens. Like I'm
That
thinking,
sort
like
of
I'm
them.
not sure what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah.
Which,
I also love doing cartoon inspired 80s cartoon inspired stuff is stuff
oh,
that I want to get into.
dude,
So yeah.
you, mm, do you know what my favorite '80s cartoon that does not get the respect that it deserves is?
What's that?
Did you ever watch Silverhawks?
Oh, heck yeah. Silverhawks, yep.
Where they were all like in space, in the bird, the dude with the guitar and everything. Like, there's one for you. If you could figure out something
Yeah.
from that show, that would be badass. And Pete,
Oh, I'm gonna,
and your brother Pete, just some dude, just some dude.
yeah,
Pete, that
just
could be your new
someday.
tagline. You could just be some dude.
we, we'll get a shirt. We'll get a shirt for him made up. He can come along. It'll just be some dude.
Pete, send me a picture. I will make a t-shirt up and we'll start selling t-shirts with your face on it that just say just some dude. And that'll be because your hat, I'm digging your hat right now. I normally have a fedora. So I'm digging your hat. What is this? Partly metal, partly real. I'm digging it. Uh, and if Nathan tells you he'll be in touch, I'll get you in touch with my boys, Unearthing the Supernatural. They love swords. Those guys are amazing. They're the only. We talk about them often on the show. They've been guests on. They're the only all Native American um, paranormal team.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
those dude.
Oh, I think
Look,
were they on recently?
yeah, not long ago. Yeah, a couple
Uh,
couple months ago.
yeah, I was gonna say I think I remember seeing a paranormal investigation thing on your yeah.
Yeah, like, and sidebar to all of it, left turn here. We always laugh because anytime I talk about paranormal or I talk about space stuff like aliens, my program twitches and does all kinds of goofy shit. Like don't
Oh
get
yeah.
into this. It happens every time, and I didn't realize it till Nathan one day was like, "You know this is happening." I'm like, "Shut up!" And we just recently did one and talking about aliens, and sure as shit, it happened. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. They're trying to keep me off the air. They don't want everybody to know what I got going on. So
uh,
so you're 10 years deep into this. Almost well, actually, by the time the show came around, you're 12 years deep into this. What was that process like? Was it like they called you on a Monday and said, "Hey, be in where do they film that at?"
it's in Connecticut.
Okay,
They
so
filmed in Connecticut. Yep.
So was it one of those kind of things like call you on a Monday, say, "Hey, Friday, we need you in Connecticut to forge some stuff," or was it like a long process? You're turning in material. How does that work?
So normally you send in an application, and they'll go through the applications, and then they'll contact you if they're interested in having you on. I never did that. They actually got in touch with me through Messenger.
What?
Um, yeah, they sent me a message on Messenger. I'm like, yeah, right, okay. This is a scam, but I
Thanks,
answered it.
Pete. Thanks,
And,
Pete. Yeah, I get it.
yeah,
Fortune Fire is calling
yeah. So I answered it, and it was legit. They were looking for veterans to do the Battle of the Branches, which was it would start out 4 Navy guys, 4 Army, 4 Marine, yeah, and then the winners of each of those episodes would go up against for the grand prize. I think it was 50,000.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I didn't do that one, unfortunately. I I think I might have been kind of like a backup guy in case somebody bailed on them or something. Um,
As
so they
Marines,
said,
we
okay,
forge crayons. We just forge crayons. I don't.
well, uh, yeah, I was uh, I lost my train of thought. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
uh, no, it's
so
okay.
so you were the backup.
So yeah, so I was the backup guy, I'm guessing, and they said, well, we'll get in touch with you later on. And so they got in touch again, and they wanted me to be ready in like it was literally like 2 days
Oh
to go
shit.
and do this. I'm like I have a job, I gotta let somebody know
Yeah.
that I gotta do this. And so I said, can you give me for the next one? I'll let them know. And so that they did that, and I picked the right one to go to. So
Right. Which Now say the name again of the spear you made.
It is the Revolutionary War Sergeant Spontoon.
Spontoon.
Spontoon, yeah.
Your host, folks, is an asshole and doesn't read real well and listen real well. Because I promise you, I thought he was saying it said spittoon. Way different.
Yeah.
Way different. If you look up spontoon and spittoon, way different. And in my mind, I'm going, wonder how they're going to test that thing. And Chris and I were joking around before the show about it. If you caught the pre-show on Instagram, I'm like, is it how far you can spit into it and make it a sound? Like, this is really impressive. Ting. Like, so now
Your,
for those that
your
don't know what a
spittoon will ting.
that, oh my god, we need him to say. I need him saying that. This spittoon will ting. That would be so amazing. Uh, this is so great. Or wonder how they would do the strength test to it. we're
Oh
gonna
man,
have
I don't even know.
we're gonna have a bunch of cowboys stand around this thing, and they're all gonna just spit into it as much as they can to see how much spittle you can actually hold.
Yeah.
We failed you. The parameters for this was it needed to be able to hold whatever. Like, oh god, it just sounds gross to even think about.
Yeah.
So so they get you in there, and so you had a 2-day leave, or you ended up because they moved you. You had more time to be prepared. How did that work?
Yeah. Yeah. I had they moved me to another episode. They got in touch with me. It might have been 2 weeks after the initial one that they wanted me for. But yeah, I just let my work know what I was doing, and I said, don't say anything, keep it a secret. And I don't think they kept it a secret because when I got back, the rumors were already flying. So,
Well, you work at a
but
daycare normally, right?
yeah, daycare, yeah,
Daycare provider.
yeah.
He's actually
No,
forged his own forks to change your kid's diaper, folks.
yeah. uh, no, I work at a place we run copper, brass, nickel tubing down, kind of like it's a mill.
Okay,
Um, so yeah, but yeah, we do Caterpillar, Miller, all the different
gotcha.
tube places. Yeah.
Yeah, we have one here in Albany called it's Albany Pipe and Nipple.
Oh,
There's a company name for you,
yeah.
Pipe and Nipple, and it's a real place. Not making it up.
Oh, I'm gonna
I
have
can
to
tell
look
you
it
right
up
now. The
now.
first time I drove past it, I was like, "Is that real? That can't be real." You have a Miss Charity Lewis. OMG
Oh,
Pete LOL. See, I told you had fans out there, brother.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm curious how they found you though. Like you're like, yeah, they just kind of reached out to you. Were you
Uh,
throwing a lot of YouTube videos? What was going on?
I'm guessing Facebook because I put a lot of my stuff on Facebook. I do more on Instagram now, but at the time I was doing Facebook a lot, and I'm guessing that's the only thing. They must have people cruising different social medias looking for anybody that does that type of stuff, and yeah, they must have come across my Facebook. So,
Somebody's a little upset that you're not at work. Some guy, Brian Super Cooper, Coopera,
yeah,
Super Cooper.
Brad, yeah, Super
Uh,
Cooper Capera.
there you go, Super Cooper Capera. We're naming people that I will never meet tonight.
Yeah, yeah,
Pete's getting his own T-shirt. Just some dude. Um,
yeah.
so this all comes about. Um, you fly now. Do they shoot in one day? What's the process for this?
So you get there the first day. Um, I'm trying to remember when I got there if it was earlier in the day, but basically the first day you get there, that you kind of get walked around the set, and they kind of let you know what's going on, let you check out the equipment and everything, and do a lot of safety things. And then they kind of roll right into the first the first forging. So like you start out with four competitors. So they start with that, and once that 3 hour, I think it's 3 hour, yeah, 3 hour clock starts. That's straight 3 hours, um, and it's actually filmed over a couple days.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so they'll do the first part where it's the first four guys forging, and then the second part is the three guys after you put the handles on. That's day two. Is you put the handles on, finish everything up, and then they do all the testing, and then they you go home for the final round.
Because you're really like you're getting to some behind the curtain shit right now that I'm curious of. So it's hot in there,
Uh,
right?
it's hot.
Is it hot? It's hot in there. It's fucking
Yeah,
forge.
yeah,
There's
it,
four forges running.
yeah, yeah. I
It's
I
not a
was I lucked out. I was one of the end guys, so I wasn't standing in between two forges. So
right. So we're not talking like it's summer weather. And when the second half comes on and you're putting your stuff on, you're in the same clothes you had on.
well, I think they had us take two or three sets of the same clothes.
Oh, now did they get that to you? They tell you like, hey, go buy the same shit 2 or 3 times.
Hmm. Yeah, we took two or three outfits of the same thing. Yep.
Ah, because in my mind, I'm sitting there going like, I can't imagine being funky, stinking, sweating. You've been forging.
Yeah.
There's shit all over your clothes, and being like, well, let me shower up and crawl back into this. This is gonna be great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I did have a change of clothes. So.
So now, how? And I want people to understand this. Like, so I've never forged anything. I,
Uh,
I don't. I don't. I know from watching the show the process, but what I don't know is the it really takes from a time standpoint to do anything. In my head, I'm
mhm.
like, yeah, you know, I'm watching these guys. I guess you can do it in that time. Those time constraints that they give you, how serious are they?
uh, it's pretty nerve wracking. uh, so I take my time on stuff. So whenever I get 3 hours to do this, my mind's just a million miles a minute. Like I got to do this, I got to do that. Going through the steps in my head, but yeah, it's definitely pretty nerve wracking because yeah, that's a short amount of time to do what you have to do.
Now, if I'm trying to remember when you were doing your blade, you had
Mhm.
one of those like cutscene mistakes where it was like, oh, what are we gonna do now? Um, I can't remember because we just watched it the other day. What was your one scene where they were like, oh, better get Mako?
Um, well, um, so we had to do a uh, through the handle construction for the tang, and I was putting a butt cap on, and I had to peen the end of the tang over to hold everything together. The metal I was hammering on was really hard, and I just started wailing on it. That was the only way I could get it to move, and I mean, uh, like apparently I was hitting it a lot harder than I probably should have been, but it held together. So that
Well,
just
you
that
sometimes
just kind
beat
of
it like it owes you money.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it worked out though. I mean, once it started moving, it worked out fine.
and I,
But
I want to throw this back out here again real quick before you go too far. Folks, if you're interested in this stuff, Chris has got amazing stuff on his Instagram, on his Facebook. It's all Hedberg, Hedberg, Forge and Metal Works. If you type that in, all one word on Instagram, it'll pop right up. Take a look at this stuff. Like I said, I know nothing about these things. Uh, you can see now. Did you get to keep the weapon that you made?
No, the the winner's weapon actually stays on set. They put it up on the wall somewhere
Oh,
on
cool.
the set. Yeah, yeah. That's one thing that I don't know. That's pretty cool. I look for it every time it's on, but I never see it. So
That's so cool to know that it's somewhere
yeah,
there.
it's
That
there somewhere. Yeah, it might be
that
in a pile, in the corner, but it's there.
that are in the background, ass grabbing with it, stabbing you.
Yeah.
Uh, so this is going along. And look, folks, for those of you that are watching us, if you want Chris to get big, there's 7 of you on with us right this very second watching the live. Share this to all your Facebook pages. Let everybody know that we're on here with Christopher E Hedberg, season 7 Forged in Fire champion, so they can all kind of pop in and check this out. So you get done, they check your blade out, uh,
Yeah.
you get your handle on, and you get told, all right, you get to go to the next round. What was that? So for you, like, can you describe what that feeling was like? Like, holy shit.
Um. So yeah, it was kind of like holy shit, excitement, and holy shit, what am I gonna do now? What are they gonna have us doing? So yeah, it was excitement and shitting bricks at the same time. I don't know if you can imagine doing both at the same time, being excited and
Yeah.
shitting bricks. That's what it was like.
It's like a wedding day. I'm so excited. Fuck, I'm shitting bricks now.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah.
So now your home forge looked like it was pretty well stocked and ready to go. Did you have to, when you got home, did you have to reach out to somebody and say, "Hey man, can you bring me over this? Do they supply you with anything extra?" Because like they've got that thing they call it Big Blue, that big hammer machine. Did you have to
Right.
pick something up, or did you already have basically what you needed when you got home?
So I had my hydraulic press that I got. It's 25-ton hydraulic press. Coal Ironworks makes them, and I had that already. And actually, whenever they got in touch with me to do the show, I was like, oh man, I'm thinking I'm going to be doing a sword or something like that. So I ordered like a $3,500 heat treat oven to have. So I had that there. Yeah, I didn't even use it. I never, but I've used it since. But it was kind of like one of those. I'm gonna make sure I'm prepared, and so I had some of the stuff that they have on the show. So I was pretty well equipped.
Because that's one of those things that I always think about with that. Like, man, I mean, I understand how expensive hobbies can get. I've got
Mm,
expensive hobbies, and I know how
hmm.
they can get out of control. But I always think like, man, a lot of these guys look like they could. You'll see one guy and he's in his one car garage in suburbia, and you're like,
Yeah.
he's forging, swords next to his neighbor who's a school teacher, and then there's other guys, and you're like, this guy's got bodies buried in his backyard. Like there. This is definitely like you shouldn't have come onto the property. Sorry, man. I gotta bury you, and I'm gonna test my swords on you. That's
Yeah.
one. Did you know? And you may know this. Did you know that's how samurai master sword makers in Japan used to test their swords?
Yeah.
They would hang up prisoners or captured troops, and they would test the quality of their blades by trying to cut things off.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
Yeah.
that.
They would see how many bodies they could go through with one hit type of deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
messed
pretty.
up.
Yeah, it's like, but then you're like,
Yeah.
like, do you? If you're the guy that's hanging up and the guy like doesn't go all the way through, do you talk shit? Like, like you suck. You couldn't even get all the way through my arm. Your sword's
Oh,
bullshit. Your sword's bullshit, man. You couldn't even get through my arm.
uh, at that point, I would probably just start talking shit on them
You
between
just have to.
screaming, you know. Yeah, yeah.
Ah, you suck. So, so how has So how has winning Forged in Fire season 7 championship? How's that changed your life?
Uh, well, it got me a power hammer.
Nice.
I mean, I mean,
Bought more
that's
tools.
pretty, yeah. I got more tools. I got the shop is in. Well, it looks like a bomb went off in there right now, but um, I have some better equipment now, and um,
Pete Pete says at least they use dead pigs on the show. This is true.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
true.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely it's definitely got my name out there a lot more. Um, so I've had a lot of requests to do pieces for people, and so I mean it's pointing me in the right direction, definitely.
Now, how about other so you said, the Ohio blacksmith thing
Hmm.
because now you're a Forged in Fire champion, do you get anybody reaching out to you saying, "Hey, you know, we'd love to have you on for this. Can you come out to this expedition or exhibit or anything like that?"
Well, actually, I was asked to do a local sports show, and that's actually starting tomorrow, I believe. But I wasn't able to get the insurance that they like. I needed to have like a vendor insurance and some
Oh,
other things to actually go there and be a part of the show. So I'm not doing the show, but I'm still gonna probably go and walk around though.
right. Go and check it out, but
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah. Once I get some more things lined up, I'll be ready for another show. So
And I can't imagine and we lost for half a second there.
yeah,
I don't know what my internet is doing. Like I'm telling you, I mentioned the aliens and the ghost, and my internet acted like an asshole. Normally,
yeah,
never have any issues. At this, it's gonna have to really become like a thing where like we can't discuss this, the things that
yeah.
shall not be mentioned. And now they know I'm talking to you, so you can forge weapons to fight them. So that's a whole thing.
I mean, they say iron's good for uh, things of the afterlife. So yeah, yeah, that would work.
See, Pete, Pete said Viking. What's Viking Con? Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, Vikings Con. I did that. That was in November.
What is
They
that?
actually got in touch. It is sort of like a Comic Con, but for Vikings. I don't know if you watch the History Channel's Vikings.
I've watched a couple
So
episodes.
it's
Yeah,
it's basically a Comic Con for that show. And I
nice.
went out. Yeah, I went out. I did some forging demonstrations. Got to show off some of my work. I didn't have anything ready for sale because I didn't have time to kind of get everything made um, for sale. But I had like a display table, stuff that I made, and things that I was working on. But yeah, it was cool. It was my first forging demonstration, and I did that for 2 days, and yeah, it was an awesome experience. I'm actually going to be going back again this year to do forging demos and everything. So yeah.
Now I've been to many Comic Cons,
Mhm.
hence, if anyone who doesn't know it, I kind of like that stuff. Hence the tattoo and everything else. But
Yeah.
um, how exhausted were you after just one day?
Uh, it wasn't actually. I thought I was going to be a little more exhausted than I was. It was pretty cool though. Like I was all right. I did a lot of sitting though, so just sitting at my table and
Just sitting
talking to
and hanging out.
people and
And I saw this picture, and Pete brings it up, and I've saw it on your Facebook page. You made an effing trident, which
Yeah.
I
Well,
wish I had more. I wish I had better sound bar in like sound clips because I would so
uh,
play that sound clip from Anchorman where he's like, "Where did you get an effing trident?"
yeah. I made that. Actually, it was kind of in preparation for the show because I thought I was doing the Battle of the Branches, and
Okay,
I was like, they're gonna make us do, something Navy,
nautical.
So I was thinking, man, that would be pretty cool to do a trident. So I just made one up for the hell of it, and I'm actually still working on it. So,
And it's legit. Like, I mean,
yeah.
and even your woodworking pieces, like your handles and stuff like that. Um,
Mhm.
did you even have a background with that stuff prior to this? Like, were you doing woodworking, anything?
Um, no, mostly just like my dad. He built muzzle loaders,
Okay,
flintlocks and stuff like that.
he would build
So
them.
yeah, he would like build the stocks and like he would
Okay,
get yeah, he would carve out the stocks and get those made up. And so seeing getting a little inspiration from him, and just kind of messing around on my own, just trying it out. And yeah, a lot of trial and error.
dude, that's wild, man. Like,
Yeah,
is the goal to be able to try to throw the trident? Let's be honest here. Throw it or fish with it.
we I probably
You can
probably
go
fish with
gigging
it.
with
Yeah,
it. Would you go gigging with
yeah,
it?
I I'd give it a try. I
For,
mean,
and I'm not even going to
you
explain
could
to anyone what gigging is. If you don't know what gigging is, go learn.
you could probably get a good sized alligator with that thing. It's big.
It's massive.
Yeah,
Now
it'll
I
be probably 7 feet 7 feet tall whenever it's done,
now
somewhere
I
around
need
there.
you- now I need you to be on Swamp People because all I can hear is what is that guy's name? I think it's Tyler or something like that. And hearing him going, shoot him,
Shoot, shoot him, Clint. Shoot him.
shoot
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
You nailed it, Brian. And I'm gonna leave it. See, I'm nailing it. Uh, and there you go. And Pete's, those would have to be some big ass frogs. They would be toads. They wouldn't even be frogs. They would be toads.
yeah, yeah. Big
That would be
toads. Big toads.
amazing to watch you go gigging with it. You can go flounder gigging with it. That was a big
Yeah,
Carolina thing. Guys would go
yeah.
flounder gigging. So here you are. You're into it. You're making it happen. What about the guy who, like me, and if you didn't know it, the I guess it's probably 2 towns over for me, if you can call them towns. They're more like neighborhoods.
Hmm.
They're all incorporated up here. 2 over from me made national news because of forging. Did you know that? Cohoes, New York? You ever
No, well, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, because the guy burned half the city down.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
Cohoes.
did hear about that.
That's Cohoes, New York. So kind of adding into that, what's some of the things that you would tell someone like obviously besides don't forge inside of a closed space, have ventilation.
Yeah,
Like the person like me who I'm sitting there, I'm going, you know what? I wouldn't mind getting into this. This sounds very interesting. I'm retired. I want to get into this. This is something I can put my time and effort into. What's some of the things that like, obviously you want to have a forge, the actual
uh,
heating source, but what's some of the things like, do they sell kits? Is there like a process? Do you have anything that you'll have listed on your website when we get that up and running that you can say like, hey, these are the basic items that you need to pick up?
um, so my the best answer I could say for that is look up. Um, there's blacksmith associations. I think almost in every state. So try to look up one of those organizations, and they'll actually have classes. They'll have the space for you to go use that type of deal. But whenever I first started out, I didn't know anything really. Um, I watched a lot of YouTube. I probably wasn't the best idea, but um, so I just started gathering basic tools. I got a cheapo Harbor Freight anvil, those 55-pound anvils, which are terrible, but it worked.
Will
For
kill a coyote though.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. So I got one of those. Actually, it was a Christmas present. My brother, my family got me, and your basic hammer, and something to hold the metal with. And I kind of started out basically with like a campfire with a blower in it type of deal, with like blowing air from like a shop vac or something to get it hotter. So I mean, I had like real basic stuff starting out. But the more I did, the more I learned, the more people that I got in touch with to, kind of help me out, you know, to do things properly and safe, and yeah, just the way I should be doing it. But yeah, I started out in the backyard with a campfire. So
Pete's not a humble guy. He's over here talking about you're welcome that I got you that so you
yeah,
could be a champion. He's
yeah,
not
yeah.
a humble
It,
guy at all. So
no,
so what are some of the so going into this, if you could look back for yourself and say, hey, I'm going to do this, but I wish I would have fill in the blank. What are
mhm.
some of the things you wish you would have known or would have done differently as you're getting it to help somebody else with the pitfalls of what this could be?
Right. So I really wish I would have known, because whenever I started this, Forged and Fire wasn't a thing. Um, and my only resource was looking stuff up on the internet, and just kind of just trial and error. But I wish I would have known that there were groups that actually have classes and teach you these things, and they'll help you find tools that you need. They'll, you know, help you learn correct techniques and different things. So I'm gonna go back to get a hold of like a local blacksmith. Then there are actually there are those out there still.
Well, I
um,
mean, well, yeah, like, um, God, not a furrier because a furrier puts horseshoes on. Um,
uh,
but yeah, I mean, those people have to still be out there. There are, well, I mean, even to the point that we've kind of changed the name of blacksmith to fabricator.
Basically, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
A lot of
that's a
fabricators
modern
are.
blacksmith is a fabricator.
Yeah. Yep.
So, um, moving forward, you now again, folks, make sure you're checking out all of Christopher's stuff. Again, he's on couldn't find him on LinkedIn or we'd have tagged him there, but he's on Instagram. It's Hedberg, Hedberg, Forge and Metalworks. You can if you look on his Instagram, you can see his stuff. Can people reach out to you and do commissions? Is that a thing, or is it like, nah, I just make what I want to make, and eventually I'll get to that point.
So uh, I will do commissions. I'm actually trying to do more of production pieces.
What do you mean?
So production pieces, as far as like I plan on doing a lot of shows, like events, sports
Oh,
shows,
okay.
gun shows. So um, I'm kind of working on getting a inventory build up on things, like basic hunting knives, skinning knives. I'm gonna work on tomahawks and camp
Nice.
axes, and just a lot of the camping accessories, stuff like that. But I also make tooling, hammers, and some other things for blacksmiths to use. So I'm kind of diving into the tooling part of things. Um, but I do take commissions. Um, just there's a little bit of a wait, but yeah.
Now you kind of bring, and I want to bring this up. Like, so I like knives, but
Hmm.
I'm kind of a, I think we're probably both of the same ilk. Being all the years in the Marine Corps, I can still remember getting handed my first pocket knife, which was the old school, like three different blades. One of them was a
Yeah.
file, one was a pen knife, one was an actual knife, you know. And I just over the weekend, I didn't even think about that we were doing this. I just picked up a CRKT. Let's see if it
Hmm.
comes up on the camera. It's nothing crazy. It's a little, nothing crazy. Now,
Yeah.
the reason I bring this up and I show it is that was $50. I want
Hmm.
I don't want to scare people off from commissions, but I
Hmm.
also don't want people to act like assholes and be like, "How much?"
Yeah.
Folks, the small hands that made my knife probably made 1,000 of them that day.
Yeah.
If I said to you, brother, I hunt, I enjoy to hunt. I need a knife with a gut hook. Just I'm throwing something out there. How
Uh-huh.
long would that take you?
Uh, so I'm gonna say probably for a single steel, because I do a lot of pattern welding. People call it Damascus. Like it's a modern Damascus. It's what they call Damascus today. But I do a lot of that. But for a single steel, I can get things made up pretty quick. Probably if I work solid on it, maybe 3 or 4 days, somewhere
Okay.
around there.
So that's
So
one knife, 3 or 4
yeah,
days. If you want to say how much, I just want to put this in perspective for you folks. If he was working at minimum wage for 3 or 4 days, so think about that for a minute. So you're talking every day, almost $100, depending upon where you live at, almost $100 over 4 days. Is that about right?
pretty close. Yeah, about yeah, 300, 400, somewhere around there.
And let's be real, he doesn't have a minimum wage talent. So when you reach out to my man and you want something ornate or special or whatever, and you're going through Hedberg Forge and Metalworks and you're saying, "Hey, I really want a knife that's going to dissolve after I commit this crime." I didn't say that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, kid. But you say, "Hey, I want this really decorative or I want something." Please don't be upset at somebody who has a very special skill and a very talented person who has that skill when you say, "Hey, I really want you to do this for me." And they go, "Sure, absolutely. That's $400. I need a $200 deposit and I'll have it to you in 3 months." You're not the first person to call them. He doesn't do this shit for charity unless that's the name of his dog. And, and you ain't got the talent. And I always tell folks, don't be mad at somebody that's got a skill set. I don't do my own dentistry.
Yeah.
I'm not making my own knife. That's that's my defense for you when some people because you had to
Yeah.
have heard that, haven't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard it. And they say, well, I can get a knife at Walmart for $30. I'm like, well, go to
Go for
Walmart.
it.
I mean,
Yeah,
I could probably cut through that knife with one of mine, but no, go ahead.
yeah. Oh, and you do
Yeah.
so. Well, Charity was nothing to do with you. Your friend Charity Lewis. Charity, it's funny because I didn't even think about that you were watching this, but yep. Is your dog Charity? Because
Oh,
there's a picture of your dog in there, Charity. Is that I don't know. And it's funny because the dog I had growing up as a kid was named Charity, and it wasn't meant towards you. I'll keep digging this hole deeper and deeper. It's okay. And then, but Pete says you do leather work also. You do your own sheaths.
yeah. I do my own sheets, all the tooling, and yeah, yeah. That's all hand stitched and hand tooled, and yeah, it takes time.
That's why I'm saying like folks, please don't when you're out there and you're reaching out and you're seeing what Hedberg Forge and Metalworks has got and what he's got going on. Understand you're reaching out to professional and the other side to it, and I'm gonna throw that on there to make them all pay a little bit extra. How many of y'all can say that you've got a Forged in Fire champion made something? Like there's something
Oh,
to be said about that. There's something to that. Because I promise you, uh Pete's out here selling your wares for you, man. Pete's like,
there you
sheets
go.
alone, 200 bills. Come up off of it, bitches. 200 bills for a sheath. Look, Pete, I'm gonna make your shirts, Pete. It's okay. You ain't got like we're gonna figure out a way. You're gonna send me a good picture. If you send me the picture that's it on your profile right now, I will get it my daughter to do it as a line drawing, like my face, and we will make pictures that just say, just some dude. Just some dude. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, you have a talent, and I promise you. Do we want to tell everybody what we're looking to do? Do we want to give up the ghost?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
So
yeah, we'll do it.
so we we were talking, Christopher and I don't, and like I said, we're gonna figure out what it is. It's dealer's choice in this matter. So for those of you that are still listening and listen to the show regularly, I like to do giveaways. A couple of months ago, we did a big giveaway for a signed Ian Anderson baseball and hat. He was the Game 3 winner of the World Series this year. Went to school locally where I live at. We're looking to do upcoming. We have Doug Dreyer, who Doug does what's called breaker. Do you know what a breaker box is? This is the coolest thing to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So Doug does breaker boxes, and a lot of his breaker boxes are um, comic book or movie related kind of stuff. I just bought some art. I don't know which piece I'm going to end up with, but it ain't going to be mine because we're going to give it away to somebody that's Spider-Man related. He's got some Star Wars related boxes. We're going to pick up one of those. So we're going to be giving that away. But we're also putting together some boxes of some prior guests. So we already have a drumstick and an album from the band. Um, Punk is a Doornail, which those guys are amazing. So we got some stuff from them. We've reached out some other musician guests that we've had on the show. They've said, yeah, we'll donate some stuff. So I reached to Chris and I said, Chris, would you be willing to donate something? We don't know what it is. It could be a bottle opener. It could be a spittoon. It could be an ashtray. I don't know what it will be, but Chris is gonna do something. And he's gonna donate something. So
Yeah.
be on the lookout for that when it comes around. And we're gonna do a big giveaway. I mean, how many people can say they won something? So think about that for a second. We were just, and look, it's not joking. We were going back and forth about the price. So think about that in and of itself. What you would have, like that's pretty impressive. Like and from the bottom of my heart, Pete thanks you because he's taking all the credit for everything tonight.
There you go.
Your brother Pete is my new biggest fan. I love it. So it doesn't get any better than that. So
Yeah.
we've got the Viking Con. When is that?
That is the first weekend in November, I believe.
All right,
So
so
it's
you
like,
got some time for that.
yeah, I got time to make stuff for that. Yep. Yeah.
Um, Anything else? Upcoming events where they could see you. Please don't
Uh,
knock on the man's door. He makes weapons. Don't knock on
yeah.
his door. He he lives in. Listen to me. I'm going to educate everyone as someone who lived in the state. There is a reason they call that state Pennsyltucky. Don't go knocking on them.
Well,
Don't go
hey,
knocking on my brother's door here.
that's the reason why I'm sitting in my vehicle in a park and ride to have service to do this right now. So
Right? Look, I respect that. That's dedication to your craft. When he's like, I'm getting on this show. If I got to go sit in the park and ride by
oh yeah,
81 to be able to get any kind of reception, that is true
yeah.
dedication. Um, So what kind of other things? Anything else coming up? Any other places we can find you? Anything?
Well, there's the Blacksmith Gathering, and it's out towards Punxsutawney.
Okay.
I'm gonna be going to that. That's a lot of tools and just a bunch of guys that do the same thing, kind of gather up, and you can pretty much find whatever you need there as far as tools and um, material, different things. As far as any kind of shows, I'm gonna try to see what I can get into as far as maybe gun shows locally. I'm just gonna start feeling around, see what I can get into, and yeah, I'm working on getting all my paperwork in line to do everything. So
Got to come do Mountain Man. If you ever get a chance, do Mountain Man. And
Mountain Man.
yeah, there's two different Mountain Man. I know there's one in Pennsylvania, which I think is the Mountain Man Challenge. I think one of them's
Okay.
called Mountain Man, and one of them might be called Woodsman. I Pennsylvania has the Mountain Man Challenge where like you have to you bow you shoot a bow, you shoot a muzzle loader, and
Okay.
there's a third event, and but it's all uh what is the right not prehistoric, but God, what's the right term for the weapons? Not modern weapons, but and they're not historic, but you know what I'm talking about. Um,
Like Frontier.
right, frontier level weapons, and they to see
Yeah.
how well you can do. Like one of them might even be like throwing a
Okay.
knife or throwing an axe or something like that. But out
Yeah.
in
Okay.
here, people always consider oh, you're in New York, you're like 10 minutes from the city. I'm 2.5 hours from New York City by train.
Yeah.
Like I'm nowhere near New York City, but a couple hours north of us in the Tug Hill Plateaus, there's a great one out there called where they actually do like the old school like saw all the stuff you used to watch on ESPN where like they're sawing trees and the climbing, and they always have stuff like that, like forges and things.
Okay.
Would love to have you
Yeah.
out here, man. Primitive, thank you,
Yeah.
Pete. Primitive, and Brian, thank you.
Yeah.
Primitive weapons. I knew I was trying. I'm like, it's not prehistoric. We're not fighting with like saber tooth tiger teeth and stone etched shit, but yeah, primitive stuff. Well, this was phenomenal, brother. I've
Yeah.
learned a lot, folks. Again, take your time, go check him out on Instagram. Hopefully, your Instagram's blowing up right now. Just all kinds of people looking up Hedberg Forge and Metalworks. They're checking that stuff out. If you have questions,
Yeah.
reach on out to Christopher. Talk to him there. If you have questions for us, as always, folks, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Twitch, even our email, everything but our Twitter is the Above the Bar Podcast. Our Twitter is at Above the Bar 4. Everything the Above the Bar Podcast. Throw this out here real quick. Waiting to double check, but as long as everything works out, I don't see any issues. This Saturday, we are going to be broadcasting live from the Albany Distillery tasting room. We're doing a special Saturday, and they are one of the big things I want to throw out to everyone. I just learned this recently. You know, rye, like rye whiskey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rye is a New York grain. I did not know this.
Huh.
And they're working on, just like you have Kentucky bourbon, like I'm drinking Heaven's Hill right now. Um, just like you have Kentucky bourbon, these guys are actually working on having a actual law passed to call it um, doggone Empire Rye, so that it's its
Okay.
own thing. It has to be certain ingredients and everything, so it'll be an Empire Rye. And I was talking to somebody about this recently, and I just had some, and I mean this in the most positive light. Drinking their Empire Rye is like smelling a brand new baseball glove. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that
Oh
brand
yeah.
new.
Yeah.
And for any guy or even gal, anybody who's ever smelled a brand new baseball glove, you're like, especially like if it's been steamed recently and it's got that smell, you're like, that's what their rye, like when you take a sip of it, it gets in your nose and you're like, this shit's
Oh yeah.
amazing.
Nice.
Just so good. So waiting on a message back, but hopefully everything works out and we'll be there Saturday. If not there Saturday, obviously we'll be belly back up to the bar next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we always are. We're talking this sport called hockey. I don't know shit about it. This should be interesting. I'm not a hockey guy at all. So this is going to be like my man who I love, Dibs, was like, you want to talk to the owner of a hockey team? I'm like, sure. Fuck know nothing about it. Dibs does know everybody. And we always say, if you're looking to upgrade your media, as a reminder, our sponsor for all of our shows is Media by Dibs. If you go on to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, look up Dibs, Media by Dibs, he'll pop right on up there. His LinkedIn is just his name, Andrew Dibble. And you mentioned him, belly up to the bar, and you say, belly up to the bar, he's going to give you a 10% discount on your first order and a free consultation on anything you need. So make sure you take that time and you reach out to Media by Dibs. As always, and look, I'm going to remind you, Chris, I know you're in the middle of a parking lot right now. Does I need see, and this is see, look, does and I need to talk, LOL. Nathan. See, Nathan lives out in Western Maryland, out where it looks like a pistol, or it looks like a barrel, and you're like really close to Pennsylvania and like West Virginia in there. It's like that area of Maryland where it's like sandwiched in between West Virginia and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it takes about 5 minutes to drive through. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like English is like, I don't even know if it's a language out there. Like you're almost in the Appalachians at that point. Yeah. Like the people that fell out of the hills, that's where they're at. Oh, look. Now he fixes it. Dibs. Oh, you meant to say Dibs and I need to talk. I don't know if I told you this. This guy, we play fantasy football together. His first draft pick every time is a kicker. Always drafts a kicker first. I don't know what his problem is. Can't get this guy to stop. This year, he drafted Matt Stover. Matt Stover hasn't played in years. Guy doesn't even know what he's doing. He just gives me money. It's just like, it's great. So, as always, brother, don't log. He's going to send me he'll call me here in a minute. But fuck you, man. That's bullshit. See that? It's on, not a kicker. All right, brother. We're going to get ready to close the bar up, put the sign on. Don't log off. You and I got to talk for a minute afterwards.
All right.
As always, the guest gets the last word. So what is the last word for everyone there, Chris?
Man, I don't know. Like if you have a vision and you have a passion, pursue it.
All righty, folks. I lost my own spot. All righty, folks. Be sure to push your stool in.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.